One night, there was a trucker driving on Interstate 80. And, he started to get a little bit tired, but he wanted to keep pushing through. As he's driving and listening to his radio, his CB radio turns on and starts saying, "Help me, help me, help me." And, he grabs a CD radio and says, "What's going on? Like, who needs help?" And all these other truckers respond, "What are you talking about? Like, we don't need help. What do you mean?" And so he thinks, okay, whatever. So he keeps on driving. Once again, his CB radio goes off. "Help me, help me, help me." And he thinks, okay, that's weird. And so all of a sudden, as he's driving, he gets this overwhelming feeling that there is something sitting in the seat next to him. And he looks over, but he can't see anything in the seat, but he feels there is something there in the seat, and it's staring at him. And he just feels very uncomfortable, very uneasy. After about 10 or 15 minutes, this feeling kind of diminishes when he notices in his mirror that there is something on the side of a semi. And so he looks again, and he sees a person hanging on the side of a semi. And he, doesn't know what to think of this. Like, how is this person on the side of my semi? I've been driving for hours. I've been pulled over. And so he looks again, and there's no one there. And several times this happens, and he thinks, you know what, I'm getting tired. I need to pull off the road. So as he pulls off the road, this cop comes around him, pulls to the side of his truck, tells him to roll down his window. And he says, "Hey, I need you to get out of the car right away." And so the truck driver gets out of the car, and the cop is like, "Hey, were you carrying a person or something like on your truck? Because there was someone hanging underneath your truck, and I seen a person under your car." So him and the cop, they start looking around his truck, and like, there's no one underneath the trailer. There's, no signs of a person hiding in his trailer. So he does more inspection, and he looks underneath his trailer, and he sees that the brake line is like tore up, like something had been tearing at the brake line, destroying it. And he was lucky that he stopped at that moment that he did, because he probably would have not had brakes very much longer. This story takes place in Colorado, outside of Denver. There's a truck driver, and he's at this truck stop. And he'd been sleeping for a couple hours, and he gets up. And as he kind of, rubs his eyes, he looks over, and in his passenger seat, there's a person sitting there. So he gets up right away, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing in my truck, man?" And he sees this guy that's dressed in, black dress pants, a white button-up shirt, and a black hat. And the guy says, "Look, I need you not to leave. I need you to stay in the truck for a couple more hours. Please, you just can't leave. You can't leave." And the guy, is confused and is like, "You're crazy, man. Well, what are you doing in my truck? Get out of my truck." The guy goes, No, please, you don't understand. You cannot leave. You cannot leave. If you leave, you're going to head up on the road on the interstate, and there's going to be an accident. A car is going to blow a tire, and they're going to slide over in front of your truck, and you're going to hit them, and the truck is going to flip, and you're going to die. So you can't go. You can't go. And so the truck driver said, "Look, man, you got to get out of my truck right now. And, I'm not listening to this anymore." So the guy gets out of the truck, and he starts walking off. But then he notices that this guy just vanishes into thin air. So the truck driver's like, "You know what, man, I've been, sleeping, or, I haven't got enough sleep. I'm too tired. Maybe I need to go back to bed for a couple more hours, because I shouldn't be driving in this condition." So he goes back to bed, and a couple more hours he wakes up, and he leaves this truck stop. And as he's driving along the interstate, he sees all of these, police cars and ambulances, and he sees there's this truck, semi truck, and it's flipped over, and there's another car with a flat tire and a smashed in front end. And he realizes, had he left right when he wanted to leave, that would have been him in that truck.